Hey, what's up everybody? This is Jeremy from Octane TV. Today on this episode we're going to be going to look at a new F80 M3, thinking about trading in our Camaro SS that we have, basically an LT1 10-speed car. We're going to be going down to Hypercars in southern Indiana. We're going to be taking a look at this beautiful like gray metallic F80 M3 with the red interior with HRE wheels. We're also going to take a trip over to, I believe it's Capital City Ford, and look at another F80 M3 that's blue. And then we're also going to be going to look at an ATS-V. So stay tuned on this episode. We're going to go through all that with you guys and show you all the different cars we're going to look at to trade our Camaro SS in. So we get down to Hypercars, which is in southern Indiana. Basically, it's right by Louisville if you've ever been there. They specialize in modified cars. If I can tell you one thing, they've bought a lot of my cars. They've actually traded in a lot of my cars, and I've actually bought a lot of cars off of them. So if you want to look at an amazing car, go to Hypercars. It's one of the absolute best places to buy something that's modified or an exotic or a really extremely nice car. That's where I go to get every car that I've actually bought in the past like 3 or 4 years. So if you want, go down there and take a look at their website. I'll actually put a link down below as well. You can take a look at that. But today we're going to go down and look at an F80 M3. I think it's a 16 or 17. It's a beautiful car. It's like a gray metallic. It does have the carbon roof. I did want the sunroof, but it's got the carbon roof, but no big deal. It has the red interior, has all the stats of what I'm looking for. The price is a little bit high because it has low miles, but it does have the HRE wheels, lowering suspension, painted calipers. It's just a beautiful car. Like, I love the way it looks right the way it is. Like, if I bought one, I'd immediately lower it, put wheels on it anyway, so it's not that big of a deal. But this car in particular, I really like. So today we're going to go down here, we're going to look at this car. I'll kind of show you some pictures and some videos of it, but we're going to trade our Camaro SS in that basically is an LT1 model 10 speed. We wrapped in the Metro Matte Dynamic Lime. We're going to trade that car in on this M3. We're also going to go look at another M3. I'll show you that as well. We're going to be going to Capital City Ford, looking at it. I'll show you some pictures and videos of it as well. But later on in this video, we're going to go to Capital City Ford. We're going to look at it and make a decision whether we're going to get the blue F80 M3 or if we're going to go with the ATS-V. We go look at a white ATS-V over in Brownsburg, Indiana. We're going to show you all the differences between all three of these cars. It's going to be a lot because I didn't do a lot of videoing while I was there. I kind of feel uncomfortable when I'm at the dealership and they're, I'm trying to ask them questions and negotiate on it, and I got this camera stuck on their face. So a lot of this is going to be pictures and me talking about it. I apologize, but it's just the way it is. I don't like to shove cameras in people's faces. So this video is going to kind of go over all three cars and let you guys know what we like and what we kind of don't like about all three cars and what we ended up going. We really liked the M3 mainly because of the color. I love the silver. I love it. It's got a lot of flake in it. I wasn't a fan of the carbon roof. I wanted a sunroof, but no big deal. It's lighter, no big deal. It's more sought after anyway, so it's not a big deal. We also wanted to go with the red interior, which it has. It also has the HRE wheels already done. They're already black, got new tires on them. It's already lowered, which is what I wanted. If you look at the way the suspension is, I mean, it is extremely low. That's the only bad part, is it'd be hard to get over speed bumps. When I was driving it, it is very rough. It's not like a nice ride. I did come and look at an M2 from them, a competition, and I really like the car. Like, it's a beautiful pearl color. I love the car, but the price was just kind of like, I just didn't see the advantage of going with the M2 over the M3. I wanted the M3 so I'd have a 4-door. So this is what I'm gonna mainly look at. And we took it out for a test drive. We love everything about it. It feels powerful, no issues with the car, drove great. Where we ran into our issues is bank financing. If a lot of people don't know, trying to finance a car that's 5 or 6 years old, especially being a BMW or even an M3, it's not the easiest to get a loan on a car that's 5 or 6 years old. They're asking $10,000 more than what it's worth on book. So when we went to go do the financing, that's where every single thing started to change for me. They wanted me to put the $10,000 down to make up the difference for what the car was on book for what it is asking. Now, granted, it's got HRE wheels, suspension, all this stuff, which adds to the value. Some people don't think so, but to me it does. But the bank wants me to change that $10,000 difference. So I had to pay the $10,000 difference to be able to obtain the loan on the car. They also, there's some stipulations about length of term, APR, all those things. So in reality, I love the car. I'll keep showing you guys videos and pictures of it. A beautiful, beautiful car. But is it the smartest move for me to make? I just don't know. So today we're gonna go to Capital City Ford. We're gonna look at a blue one, and I don't know how many pictures I took of all this. I'm praying that I got a lot of them, but I don't think I did, just because I didn't want to be rude. They invited me to come over to Capital City Ford on the east side of Indianapolis. I come over to look at the car. They were actually asking more for this car than the car at Hypercars, which, if I can tell you anything about Hypercars, is extremely nice and it's in great shape, no issues, 0 issues, low miles. The blue one had more miles. Come to find out, we started looking at this car and there was, I would probably say 30 to 40 dents. The interior was worn down really bad because it had the ivory white, which I did not like. I hated it. We look underneath the car on the front bumper because I noticed some stuff hanging off on the front bumper. It was Bondo. They literally just took some Bondo, fixed a bunch of stuff that was wrong with the front part of the bumper, and then just painted right over it. And I just pulled a Bondo slab right off the bottom of the bumper. And I'm like, what in the world? And they tried everything in the world to make this deal work with me. They wanted my Camaro really bad, but they had a Camaro SS in there, same year as mine, but it was an SS higher trim level than my LT1. They wanted $10,000 more for that car than what they were offering me for my car. I can't even remember what they offered me. Like, it was probably $5,000 less than book. And I have about $10,000 to $15,000 in mods in this car between wrap, wheels, suspension, everything I had done to this car. And I told them, there's no way in the world that I'm gonna take a $10,000 to $15,000 hit on this car, buy your car for more money than what it's worth on book. So when I went to the bank about this car just to even see if they would even approve me, they laughed in my face. They wanted $15,000 more than book. The car had been wrecked, the car had been damaged. They promised me that they would fix all the dents, all the interior, all the front bumper. They would need like 3 weeks to fix everything that was wrong with it. Why they didn't fix it before I came to look at the car, I have no idea. But I just literally walked out. I was like, this was the biggest waste of 2 hours of my day. And I honestly can tell you, like, I would never do business with them ever again. Just because of that, like, you're trying to get me on a $60,000, $70,000 car and you're trying to like have Bondo slapped up underneath it. I mean, it was pretty bad. I mean, it was the worst F80 I've actually went and looked at, minus one that I did go look at another F80, I'll be honest. They did not disclose with me. I think it was Carmel Motorsports, something like that, on Keystone Avenue in Indianapolis. I did not take any pictures of it. As soon as I got there, they would not let me test drive it, number one. When I ran the Carfax on it when he was out there, it had been totaled, and they welded it back together, and you can see the seam line where they welded it all the way over the car. And I didn't even notice it until he pointed it out, and he disclosed with me that the car had been a salvage title. They got it fixed, but that's why the price was reflected so low. I think it was $48,000. It was $12,000 less than the other two. And I just told him flat out, I'm not going to drive the car. It was an M4 instead of an M3 as well. So I said, no, I'm not even going to drive the car. So that took that equation off the plate. So I'm kind of down 2 cars right now. So I went to look at a 3rd car. I've always wanted an ATS-V. They had a pearl white one. It was in Brownsburg, Indiana, so I went to, I can't remember the dealership. I don't think it was Don Hines, don't quote me on this, but it was a Ford dealership right there in Brownsburg, right when you're coming in there, and probably the biggest one. I go in there, and this female helped me. She tried to help me, let me rephrase that. And she let me go out, I didn't even take the car for a test drive. I went out and got in it. As soon as I got in the car, the infotainment system wouldn't work. So I couldn't adjust the HVAC, couldn't adjust the radio, couldn't adjust anything, because when you put your finger on there, the screen would just, like, when you push it, it would go 1 inch up or 2 inches up. It was a piece of crack. It was cracked. The screen was cracked on the radio. The interior was really wore down. The exterior wasn't in the greatest shape, and they wanted more money for this ATS-V, almost as much as the M3. 16 ATS-V, they wanted the same as a 16 F80 M3 fully loaded. And I just was like, there's no way. And the bank even just laughed again. They're like, they're $20,000 over book. Like, don't even look at that car. So this is some pictures of the car. I'll kind of show you guys that and everything like that. But let's just say in this video, I struck out 3 times. So I did not do very well. I kept looking at cars and looking at cars. I really wanted an M3 or an ATS-V. I really wish the ATS-V's prices were way cheaper to reflect that, but people for back then, ATS-V's were going for 45, 50K, especially one with low miles or it was in good shape. So it's really hard to get an F80 at 50, 60K or an ATS-V at 40 to 45K, some of them even topping $50,000. So understand, when I'm making this video, a lot of people are going to get confused because these videos are a year or 2 old. So when I went to buy this car, a lot of the stuff, we're so behind on YouTube that a lot of the stuff is going to be in the past. That's why I kind of use past tense on some of these things, because I've already bought multiple cars since then. So these are just recollections of me talking about what I bought, because we're so behind on YouTube on keeping up with all the cars that I bought. At this point in my life, I mean, I bought like a new car every 3-6 months. So I didn't stay with them very long, honestly, because I wanted to keep upgrading and going to better cars. But in fact, all I was doing was buying cars, modding them, putting a bunch of money in it, and losing the money. The only thing I got lucky on was the market was so fluctuated that the prices were inflating so high that when I would buy them, I could get them low, I could sell them high, and at least somewhat break even, but not much, like not very much at all, let me tell you that. Not for the amount of money and time I put into these cars. So in this video, I'm gonna kind of strike out. I apologize, like it sucks I don't get to buy one of these cars, but I wanna show you what we went and buy. Now in the next video, we're gonna go back to hypercars. They kind of sit and talk to me about a plan of a strategy. We already got me approved. We actually called it the credit union, and he said, why don't we do this? Instead of looking at BMWs, why don't you look at a Mustang? You want a Mustang. Why don't we look at a couple different Mustangs? The bank's already approved you on it. Let's go to that. I wanted to go from a Camaro or a Mustang because I've had 3 Mustangs and 2 Camaros. I wanted to go to the next level, whether that be a Supra or whether that be a BMW. I want to keep going up. But they did have an awesome car at Hypercars. So on the next episode, we're going to show you the car that we go down to Hypercars and we actually buy. So these are 3 kind of strikeouts, but the next video is going to show you the car that we actually buy. Thank you guys for watching.